What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. Let me first address that. I want to apologize to you guys. It's been about 3 to 4 months since my last post. You know, we had that incident at the track. The Corvette wasn't running too well. It actually wasn't running at all. We had to get it towed to the shop. So that was about, geez, what was that, November of last year? So it's been a while since I posted. I didn't have the car, so I didn't really know what to post about. I was kind of bummed out. But anyways, you guys probably, I want to go ahead and apologize about that first. I should have kept going with something with the BMW or something, anything, but anyways, let's go ahead and, you know, forget about all of that. And you guys will notice that the scenery has kind of changed. I have a garage now. So recently my girlfriend and I moved to a new apartment. We got out of the house, there's no garage there, so this is awesome. Got a garage now, my own space for the cars. So we got the BMW here. And then I also got a little surprise for you. Boom! It's back. The C7 Z06 is back. So today I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about what actually happened to the car, how much I ended up spending on the repairs. I want to go ahead and get it out of the garage, go for a little test drive, just stretch its legs a little bit, let you guys hear it. It's been a long time, so let's go ahead and get these cars out of the garage, and then we'll go for a little drive. And then I think we're also meeting up with one of my buddies. He's got a Young Ben, you guys have seen him on the channel. He's got a 2017 Z06. It's stock, so we're gonna go ahead and run them up against each other, see how much better this thing is running, and kind of give you guys a little comparison there. But let's go and get these cars out of here. Actually, before that, let's go and give you guys a little tour of the garage. So we got a 2-car garage here. It's like an inline one at the apartments. So they just barely fit in there. I think there's about a foot left over in between the car, foot or two between the two cars. Let's see. Yeah, about a foot or two. So plenty of space. It's awesome because I can back this thing out, pull the Corvette up, and then work on the car. But yeah, I usually have the Corvette parked back here because obviously I don't drive it as much as the BMW. That's my daily. But we have a little table here we used to use for beer pong. Now it's a little workbench for all the parts and stuff. Still moving in, trying to get everything organized. Got little ramps for the car, some tires under there, some chairs and a dining room table that are supposed to be in the apartment but they can't fit because not enough space. Got some drag radials there. I just changed the oil on the BMW, so there's some used oil and whatnot. But yeah, it's pretty cool to have a garage for the cars now. It's awesome. So don't have to sit outside and all the weather, the elements, all that stuff. The paint can stay protected on both cars. This one's filthy, I need to wash it. But that is the garage. Maybe we'll get some like posters or I don't know, some kind of art. But anyways, let's go ahead and get these cars out of here now. So the cold start on the Corvette's gonna sound a little funny because since I live in the apartments now, I think I have someone living literally right above me in the 2nd floor. So there's a 4-story apartment and the garage is on the 1st floor, and then I think someone lives above. So anyways, this thing has what, headers and just headers, but it is so loud. It's got the stock exhaust, but it's so loud. So anyways, the cold start's gonna sound really funny because it's in stealth mode right now. So yeah, it just sounds like, I don't know, I'll just let you hear it. It sounds horrible. So yeah, it sounds really funky in stealth mode, but let's go ahead and, since we're out of the garage, we'll go ahead and put it back into track mode. I don't know if you can pick it up from here on this GoPro, but we have the other camera outside, so you'll definitely be able to tell the difference. I'm gonna go pick that one up. So I don't know if I've introduced our new co-pilot. This is Bino. This is Kimmy's dog. He's a little Yorkie, 8 years old. This is his first time in the car, so I don't know how he's gonna handle it. Let's start off by putting it into track mode and see how he reacts. Cool with that? Cool with that? You have to be cool with it. Alright guys, so let's talk about what happened to the car. So we were at the track back in, what, October, November-ish? It's been too long, but, so I don't know the exact date. But anyways, we were at the track, we did a couple runs. Our final run, we ran a 10.7 and went back to the pits, let it cool for a little bit, turn it back on, and then it started smoking like crazy. So we decided to leave the track. As we were driving home, got about 5 miles down the road, it wouldn't rev above 1200 RPM, 1300 RPM before it was like really breaking up, stuttering really bad. It just didn't want to accelerate whatsoever. So we got a tow truck, we got it sent over to one of the shops in St. Pete. He normally does like supercharger installs and stuff like that. They don't really like tear down into the motor and figure out what's going on with engines that have been blown and stuff. So they went ahead and sent me over to another shop, Power Tech Performance, over in St. Petersburg. Joe and the guys over there are awesome, but we'll talk about that later. But he essentially, what happened was they got it in the shop, they jacked it up. I mean, it was pouring oil, you know, out of the motor. It was pouring oil everywhere, all over their floors, all over the shop before them's floors. I found oil all over my driveway, so it was dripping out pretty bad. We were trying to figure out where all that oil was coming from. Like the amount of oil that was coming out, it seemed like there was a massive hole in the side of the block or something. So we went ahead and they went ahead. They ran a compression test on it. Everything came back good. One of the cylinders was down like 10%, but nothing to warrant like a hole in the block or bad piston or bad rings or anything like that. So they were pretty confused. I was pretty confused. They went ahead and tore down the airbox, and they found about a quart of oil inside of this airbox. And they're like, why is there a quart of oil inside the airbox? And nothing made sense. So I got on the forums and I started doing a little research, and I found out that other C7s were having the same issue. They were finding oil all down like the side of the fender, dripping down into their driveways or their garages. And come to find out, they were all just getting overfilled with oil. So these have a dry sump oil system in them, and they hold about 10 to 12 quarts, depending on where you research. But essentially what's happening is it's a dry sump, so there's a lot of hoses and an external reservoir. And what happens is when people do oil changes on these, they drain all the oil out, and they think they're draining all 10 to 12 quarts out, but really they're only getting about 9.5 quarts. And then some people are just overfilling it back, filling up 12 quarts back in it. Now you've got, what, 14, 15 quarts of oil in the motor. And basically you're just drowning the motor of oil. And so basically it's called burping. The engine's burping itself, and it's spitting oil back out through the supercharger mouth, down the air intake, and down into the air filter. So much had been burping that it was like a quart of oil in the air filter. So we went ahead and drained all the oil out. We cleaned up the top of the motor, the supercharger, the air filter, the air intake, throttle body, everything, as much as we could. I mean, as much as they could. Obviously they couldn't get all the oil out of the supercharger and whatnot, but that'll all get burned off eventually. They drained all the oil out. They cleaned all the top of the motor out, and then they put the oil back in, started it back up, and this thing ran perfectly. It, when there was so much oil in the motor, it did foul out a few of the spark plugs and stuff. But now that we got the right amount of oil in there, this thing runs like a champ. It's so crazy. So it wasn't like a $25,000 new motor. Thank God. Thank God. It ended up actually only being $2,200. Most expensive oil change in my life, and probably anybody's life, unless you have like a, I don't know, Bugatti or something like that that have expensive oil changes. But basically, yeah, $2,200 oil change. I mean, it's obviously more than oil change. They did an oil change. They cleaned up the top of the motor. They had it all disassembled, had to reassemble it, new seals, gaskets, whatever. And then they went ahead and flushed my coolant system too, that I drained out. So it actually ended up being just a coincidence that, I did drain a little bit of that fluid out, that coolant fluid out of the supercharger intercooler system, but that wasn't the reason all that happened. All that happened was because it was just drowning in oil. So, car's back on the road now. It sounds so much better too. It's so much more crisp. But let's go and get some runs in this thing. Oh, I gotta get the SIM card put into this guy. All right. Anyways, we'll do some runs. We're gonna go meet up with my buddy Youngbin with the 2017 Z06 and compare it, you know, stock to all the mods that have done this. So, catch you guys in a minute. Oh, and I guess I should elaborate on why technicians are putting too much oil in these cars. So, when you check the oil in this thing, it's a process. Oh, I need gas. It's a process, so you have to heat the car up to operating temperature of 175 degrees, and then you gotta let it cool. You gotta turn the car off and let it cool for about 5 to 20 minutes, and then check the oil level in the external reservoir. So because of that whole sequence of checking the oil, it's not like your traditional, you just check the dipstick, see what it's at, boom, bada bing, you're done. You check the dipstick, but it's in a reservoir, and there's a special way, there's a whole process on how to check that oil. So what's probably happening is just people are just putting in, you know, 10 quarts or whatever they're putting in, 10, 12 quarts, and then not even checking it, or checking it and thinking it's the right level, but they haven't actually ran it to operating temp and then let it drain down for 5 to 20 minutes. So I think that's the big issue, but we got the right amount of oil in there, so we're good to go. Yeah, stay here, buddy. Come on. There you go.
Rather than the company.
That's not good.
Our Nitro Plus premium gasoline. Enjoy special offers and
Alright, so we just got to YB's house. Let's go check out his 17 Z06. So he's got this pretty much stock. The only thing he's done to it is a ported throttle body and an air intake. So basically stock. He's get it tuned, but he doesn't want to mess up that factory warranty. I think he bought the extended warranty too, but same color as my old Grand Sport. Beautiful, I love white. Looks so good. So this one's got the tune, the pulley, headers, some stuff to help with the heat. So I think, I want to say the previous owner said that this thing had dynoed at 651 horses at the wheels, so it should, I think those usually dyno stock around like 570, 580 at the wheels, so looking at about a 70 horsepower difference you should see during the pull. So let's get out there. Damn, it sounds so good. I'm all over the place. There you go. So stock versus modded, you won't really see much of a difference because it could not get any traction whatsoever, both cars. So I think the third run we finally got a little bit of traction, but we were floating all over the place. It's kind of sketchy. It was really sketchy. But anyways, we'll show all the videos, or we already showed all the videos. So yeah, anyways, you guys, like we saw, like and subscribe. I don't know if you guys noticed, we got the vanity license plate for rear-wheel drive C7Z. So yeah, anyways, if you guys liked it, go ahead and like it, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next video. Later.